chapters in a changing season. We cool together and it all feels good. You know we wouldn't trade a thing, and I think I know the reason. The moment comes to passing, the meaning's understood. It's all love and laughter. We're growing older together. We're gonna find our way. We're finding joy and magic in our lives as we get older. This is our life in the middle. Life in the middle. Life in the middle.
Welcome back to Life in the Middle. I'm Jenna.
And I'm Travis. Thank you for coming back after episode 1. This is episode 2, and today we're going to talk about transition between high school and college with our oldest son, and transition from middle school to high school with our youngest son. Those two worlds kind of are completely different, but they're also a lot of similarities. So we're going to kind of go in depth on what we went through when picking colleges, changing from a middle school learning process to a high school process, and so on and so forth. So just to get us started off, I'm going to ask Jenna kind of a lead-in question here. Which has been harder for us as a couple, the transition from high school to start college, or the transition to middle school?
Well, from middle school. I would say for us, it's definitely college. Like, Kingston leaving the house was really hard. It was, I mean, if you're a parent out there and who's going through senior year, every last milestone, every last home football game or homecoming dance, those last milestones of high school, and those were so hard for us.
Yeah.
But that first day dropping him off at college, that'll change you. Yeah, I mean,
nobody tells you about that.
Nobody prepares you for that. And then just leaving, coming home to one less person in the house, the quiet, even though, you know, Joe's loud and I'm loud and you're loud, but the quietness that is that, definitely the transition from high school to college was the worst for us.
I agree with that. Middle school was just a move from one building to another.
Yeah, across parking lot.
There was an attitude shift as far as maturity level whenever over that summer.
Yeah.
But I do believe the college, the move-in experience was probably more traumatic than anything else.
Absolutely. Like one of the worst days of my life. It was that bad. Yeah, it was that bad.
I guess we can start. Let's kind of talk about the middle school to high school. So
highly recommend that. I highly recommend that.
Yes. So for you, as the mom of the household, these first few months of high school, how's that different than our life when our son was in middle school?
I hated middle school. Middle school's horrible.
It is.
They're all hormonal, all just going through puberty. Boys are mean, girls are mean.
Yeah.
They have this, and this is all, like, I feel like this is all kids. It's somewhere in their social group, you know, you just be mean to each other, you know,
Yeah.
and I got to be better than that person. I got to stand out more than that person. I got to do this better than that person. And you're just mean. They're all mean to each other. And so high school, he like changed immediately, right? It was, I hope he wasn't one of those kids that was really mean to everybody, but that's just kind of how they are at that age. But I feel like he stopped hearing people talking down to him or talking bad about him or doing this. He stopped caring because there was other people, older grades that he knew and he loved and he hangs out with, and there was so much more to do. Plus, I mean, school wise, classroom wise, it was like, he felt like the discipline, you feel like the discipline's a little bit better because some of those kids that were causing a lot of problems in middle school, they start causing those problems in high school and they're getting bigger consequences.
Yeah.
And the punishment's a little different. They can be sent to like a different campus if you're in like a trouble for a week or something like that. Or and so he's enjoying school so much more.
Yeah, I think that's probably my biggest takeaway too, is that he hated going to middle school. It felt like it was a pain to go every day. He didn't want to go because he was actually one of the older kids in his class.
Yeah.
So the maturity level was astonishingly different from him to even the people in his same grade. So it felt like he was going to school and hanging out with the kid, like the babies.
Yeah.
And he felt like he was more in kin with the people in high school as far as maturity level.
Yeah, and
And
I do think he matured. I mean,
Yeah.
because he was the oldest in his class. He's actually supposed to be a sophomore. He's technically a freshman.
Yeah.
That's from us holding him back when he was in elementary school. But like, and at the time, that was a great decision,
Yeah.
and I still stand by it 100%. But it's one of those situations. Now, this is the negative. Well, that was the negative. It's not anymore. I feel like he's like, I'm going to get my license before everybody else.
Yeah,
That's great.
that's-
Now it's okay. But, middle school age was the hardest because he would come home just complaining about how immature people were and he couldn't take it. And it was just, it was a lot.
And we talked to him through that too. We're like, hey man, this whole maturity thing will change, I promise you. And I think that the summer between middle school and high school, him and all of his friends, that maturity level did change. And now he enjoys going to school. He looks forward to going to school. He looks forward to being in part of the
It's not
school
like as
activities.
much, yeah.
He's been real big about going to the football games, being part of the student section and having fun. He's on the JV soccer team. He's part of the bass fishing team. So he's involved in all these things, which the sports there, he was doing those in middle school too. But it's a different standard when you get to high school. There's more emphasis
that was a
on them.
huge shift. A huge change. Soccer was a huge change because that attitude, it would come out on the field in soccer. But high school, the coaches just not have it.
He don't play that
No,
kind
he's
of game,
not.
So
He's not. Y'all not going to talk
and
about
as a
it.
parent, I'm thankful for that too.
Yeah,
So
that was a huge difference.
and the competition level stepped up too from the middle school soccer to the high school.
Oh
team.
yeah.
So it was eye opening for him to know, hey, I've got to be more disciplined if I want to be part of this team.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
And that shift was great for him. Schoolwork, I'll be honest with you, I've seen more of a shift in him wanting to do his schoolwork a little bit more.
So I think towards the end of 8th grade, he really started to figure out, if I have no missing work and I'm doing good and I've got a good grades, the teachers are more open to be the one to go get whatever she needs from the office, or hey, I need to go do this for another teacher and I can get out of class by doing that, because they know they can trust you. Your grade is doing fine. They know you care. And I feel like he made that shift towards the end of 8th grade. But I think it's continued for sure. He missed a day right before fall break. He was sick. We were all sick.
Yeah.
And he got it done. Like, it was just like, oh, I got to get my wake up work done, and he got it done. Now, like I told him, I was like, don't rush through just to get, to fall break stuff. But, had to check over that stuff or try to check over that stuff. But, I think he cares enough. He doesn't want to miss in work. He doesn't want to miss out. So I think he's really making that a priority.
Yeah. And I think his class selections are more interesting to him too. Now he isn't just doing his I guess the extracurricular classes, like his media, his marketing class, he really enjoys.
Which is so funny because that's a class he talks to you about.
Yeah.
And I was in the FFA. I was a secretary in the FFA, and he's starting out in ag classes.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like how he was doing the creed, and then they were talking about the opening, closing procedures, and how he had to do a couple parts of that. And I was, telling him and just rattling it off because 20 years ago, I was, I had to do that over and over and over again. So I still remember those things, but he was, but it's those kind of things that we can talk about and find a common interest. He can kind of tell me about, and he can tell you about.
He's going to pick up a welding class and
third trimester.
Yeah. So at the end of school.
Well, trimesters, because they don't do semesters. So it's weird.
It's weird here. But at the end of the school year, he's going to have a welding class, which I think will be greatly beneficial to him. I think trades are lost in high school.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad he was offered it and that he wanted to do it.
Did you have those? You had those things in high school. Did you have them in middle school? Because I remember
did
shop.
Not have them in middle school.
We had shop and like home ec and those kinds of things. They didn't offer. And like middle school, it was like Chinese. I think at one point he had a writing class, which of course is really fun for 13, 14-year-old boys to go to an extra writing class outside of English, like hated that. he had like I think they at one point they had home ec and they had a little bit of ag,
Yeah,
but
it wasn't much.
it wasn't something that they got to pick.
Right.
It was just, hey, this is what we're offering in one. You get 2 classes every 9 weeks, and it changes, and it doesn't matter what you want. This is what you're getting because we only have so many.
Yeah. So, how has Joe, our high schooler now, you think handled the jump socially? Because I think high school's more social driven, obviously.
Yeah, I think that he has. It is everything he wanted it to be. It really is. So, we moved here in 5th grade. This is a small town, so most of these kids they grew up together. And like any small town in the South, football is king. Right behind that's baseball in this town.
Yeah, everybody thinks this is varsity blues.
Yeah, absolutely. He doesn't. He doesn't play either of those sports. We tried baseball for a little while. Yeah. He got really bored. His ADHD was like, I can't handle this. I'm just standing here. That was like back in Pee Wee, right? Yeah. So he wasn't what you would say the most popular kid. He knows a lot of people, but all of those people are older than him. So like he had friends in what grade he should have been in. He has friends in grades older than that. So when he's a middle schooler, he's kind of stuck to what he's allowed to do as a middle schooler, what we allowed him to do as a middle schooler. Like, hey, you can't do that. You're in middle school. I'm not, I'm not going to let you go out to the ball game on a Friday night and not have somebody there looking after you and stuff. Now he is loving calling one of his friends to drive and was like, hey, can you take me to the football game since it's a away game? Or, hey, can you bring me home from the game? Hey, let's go to Sonic before we come. Those kinds of things that are just kind of a rite of passage in high school, right? Going out and hanging out at the Sonic or going to Taco Bell or something like that. He's loving it. And he has stopped caring about those kids that he found, that he thought were popular, that he doesn't care. He's got his group. He's got friends that are not in his grade or different grades, and he loves them. They love him. And I think that's it, right? Like you need a ride or die. And I feel like he's gotten one of those now. And I feel like he's just deciding to be happy instead of trying to fit in. Sure. And I feel like that changes behavior. And he's like, I love it. I highly recommend the jump from middle school to high school.
I do too.
Sure.
I think part of that socially too is, me and Jenna do a lot of stuff with our church involving our youth group. So we're very close with a lot of the kids in this town, especially ones that go to our church.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are seniors now, juniors now, that are in the same school building as Joe. And they've kind of took him under his wing because they know and love us.
Yeah.
It's
like siblings, right? Like having cousins or having an older sister or older brother.
And they're pulling him along so that he's
looked after.
And he looks like he's hanging out with all the seniors now. So
it does something for a freshman boy to be like in the car with a senior girl going to the Taco Bell. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And we love those girls. They're like our daughters.
Absolutely.
And they take care of him. And so we're happy that they're there and that they get that they can watch.
They have definitely. I mean, that's one of the things when we started this church. The first year I decided I was just going to go to church camp, right? And I got put into a cabin with 8th grade, 9th grade girls. And I think there was about 16 of them, 16 of them, and scared to death. Didn't know what to do. Best group of kids I've ever had the privilege of knowing, and their parents have allowed us to be, to love them as like our own. God gave us boys, but I gained a bunch of girls, and they have been amazing. And then along with that, with the youth group, that brought a bunch of guys into it too. But that one group of girls, they're like older sisters to both our kids. And that's been really like a blessing that God's given us is those girls. So they look after, and they always, Joe, if you actually do watch this podcast of your mom and dad talking, they're the ones that I'm getting all my information for it from school. So anytime I got information, that's where it's coming from.
So with this switch from middle school to high school, would you say there's any learning curves as parents that we need that we really needed? I think the social thing is kind of the biggest learning curve is because we're not letting go per se, but we're letting him have more leash to run on.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that would be the best way to say it. Get a little space.
Yeah, so we want him to develop that identity as his self outside of being with mom and dad. We want to give him those opportunities to go out and be a kid without mom and dad around. So we're heavily involved with the youth group at our church. So when we do church activities, we do trips. Mom and dad are always there. We go to camp. Mom's there for sure. Dad comes in. So whenever we're doing fun stuff like that, mom and dad are always there.
Yeah.
So we're trying to give him those opportunities where mom and dad aren't standing over him going, why'd you do that? We don't want him to make terrible mistakes, but we want him to go out there and learn what he can and can't do.
Yeah.
So
we got to give him the opportunity to do what he knows right.
Right.
And for the majority of the time, he does.
Yeah.
You know.
Sure. But he's still a kid, so there are those times when he might make the wrong decision. But that's all part of growing up. I think everybody is watching this, and ourselves here standing for us. We're not without mess ups in our life, and at the age of 15, we were probably messing up every single day. So,
Lord, yes, we'd established he's me.
Yeah, that's how we learn.
Yeah,
that's how we establish what our morals and our compass is in life. So, I am 100% okay with him being able to do things, and we still are trying to protect him from the things we know can be really bad, but giving him enough leash where he can go out and have fun and still be part of the crowd. And
and I feel like part of that is growing up in church. He's his faith is part of him. It's not something that he is absolutely 100% always had an understanding of our religion and the people he can trust in those places. Like, he's got preachers and youth ministers and other kids in the youth group. That was very important to us when we moved here, that he had a youth group, because he 100%. Needed those people he could see in the crowd at church or at school and know, hey, these are people that kind of believe the way I do. There's somebody that I can go to if I need help. And that was one of the great things about us, church and stuff.
So we call this We're 1,000.
What?
And we call this part of it We're 1,000.
Oh, we were 1,000. Yes, yes.
So what is something you might remember from your first day of high school?
Okay, so I am the youngest of three. My sister's 5 years older than me. So she'd already graduated. She's your age. So she was a 2000 graduate. I didn't enter high school until 2001. And Jared, my older brother, was graduating. He was a senior that year, so he graduated in 2002. So when I entered high school, I knew way more than most freshmen would, right? So Jared was one of those popular kids. He played baseball and football in this town. He was very good at both. I think he was like captain of the football team. He was a popular kid. He was, which also translates into little sister when you're there. So for me, I wasn't scared going in first day. I knew probably every single one of those seniors. If they played football, had an association with football or baseball, I knew them and had known them for years because Jared had been playing ball with them since we were kids. So you
weren't intimidated.
I was little sister to the majority of the freshman class. No one was going to mess with my 6'3", 190, or 200 pound brother. That was not going to be a problem. I was not going to be fresh meat, as Joe says it, So no, and I had lived here my whole life too. So, I had a best friend, like my ride or die since I was 5. We walked in first day together. But that would have been in any school that we had been through since we were kindergarten, right? So I had this best friend, and that's unlike most people. So first day of school, I was excited.
Yeah.
I don't think I felt the fear that some people do. And, but that was all because of my best friend, and probably my brother.
So the same kind of goes for me. I remember being a little bit scared walking in. I couldn't drive at that time. So my mom had dropped me off, and, walking in and seeing this school that was so much bigger than the one I just came from. But luckily I had a familiar face. My best friend was there with me. And we walked in together, and that eased the nerves, and we went on to our first class and familiar faces because you go to homeroom and it's all the kids you went to middle school with. I was in a small town. It wasn't like a whole bunch of schools funneled into the high school. It was the same people that we went to school with in middle school, for the most part. So it was all familiar faces, and all that anxiety kind of left. You knew that everybody you've been to school with before was in the same boat you are.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the only real memory of my first day of high school is just getting out of the car and going, oh no, this is different.
Yeah.
How's this going to be? But then once the day got going, it was just regular normal school after that.
Yeah. Well, I think, and I was sitting here thinking about when you were talking, freshman year, that was my freshman year. I moved. Jared graduated that year, and I left here, Franklin, and I moved out of state to another school, driving distance from here, but out of state, had to switch schools as a sophomore. That first day of school was very tough. That was just didn't know what to do. I was lost. I mean, I had been here all the way through freshman year, had so many friends and everything. And so sophomore year was probably the most difficult. And I walked in that day, didn't know where to sit, didn't know where to go, lost in a small school. It was a smaller town than this one. So all of those people had been in school together since pre-K, and you just definitely felt like, you didn't know which way was up. It got better, I feel like I'm a personal, person. Like, I like people, like to talk. That's why this works so well, right? But it took me a week or two, but I made some friends, and that was good. All the people there, great people. And that's where I actually graduated from. They include me. Obviously, I graduated from there in East Robertson, and they include me. But Franklin also includes me in their stuff because I'd been here for so long. They still tell me I'm part of the class, even though I didn't graduate from here. So.
All right. Well, let's move on to the big move, the independence and emotions, and how we redefined our parenting from the high school to college move, right? So, man, that college send off. No one, and we talked about this after. No one warned you how hard it is to send your college student off, and I'm here to warn anybody listening that when you drop them off and you spend all this time planning to pack all their stuff up and move them into their dorm, you get there and you load it up, and it's like, hey, I've spent all these years teaching this kid how to do things, and now I'm just supposed to leave him with a microwave and a bed cover and this
little refrigerator
and a little bitty refrigerator in this room half the size of the bedroom he grew up in with another person he doesn't know in there.
Yep.
So no one.
Just the socially awkward moment too of them like staring at each other, like not know what to say.
Most parents that may be watching this, their kid will probably end up in the dorm room with someone they know.
That's true. That's true.
Ours did not have that. Did not have that ability because he went to a Christian college on an archery scholarship. He was part of the archery team in high school, and none of the kids that he went to school with went to the college that he went to, so he knew nobody. So when he got his dorm room, for a long time, there was nobody attached to his dorm room.
So he was excited.
Yeah, he thought he was going to get a whole dorm room to sell. The week before we started to move him in, they sent him a message and said, hey, you got a roommate. This is who it is. He's on the football team. And if you know our oldest son, he's not a sports guy. Yes, he's on the archery team and he's a collegiate athlete. But to say he's into sports might be the overstatement of the year.
Absolutely.
He does not. And so now he's rooming with this football player that he didn't know and only had a week to get to know over text messages and Snapchats. And
he's not good at communicating in text message form at all. If you're out there and you want to text Kingston, it is not the way to communicate with him. He is a FaceTime or a phone call kind of person. He hates text messages.
And then, we went down there the next week and loaded up his room and then had to leave. And we sit in the parking lot and cried for a minute. And finally, I just put the truck
He
in
took a
reverse.
minute like he went bawling like a baby for a good 10.
And finally, I just looked at Jenna and was like, I got to rip the Band-Aid off. We got to go. And I just put the truck in reverse and drove on out of there.
Yeah.
And then wanted to turn around every 10 minutes. So,
Yeah. That was a rough day. It was a rough day. You know, just thinking about it now, and it
brings back some emotion.
It does. It brings back some emotion because I'm a little bit more used to it now. The first week was
yeah, I think we called him way too much the
hovering.
first week.
Yeah. Helicopter Mama was really helicopter mama.
Every night, hey, what are you doing? He's like, same thing I was doing last night. I just got done eating.
Yeah. I've gotten better. I have. I text him if I need to tell him something or call if I want to hear his voice. But I try to limit that to once a week. Because I know he loves me. I know he misses me. But that's what I told him on the phone the other day when I told it'd been like a week and a half. He hadn't called me. I was going to see how long it took. He FaceTimed me the other night, and I gave him a little bit of a guilt trip. And he's like, "I'm sorry," and I said, "Buddy, you not calling me is saying that you're doing okay. If you were calling me every night, I think I'd be up here getting you. We'd be loading up that stuff, and you'd be coming home, because
I would be. He loves it there.
He does. He loves it. He's having such a great time. But and that's what I told him. I'm like, you not calling means you're doing good, and that keeps me at peace because as soon as I see your name come across my screen, I'm answering within a couple seconds. I can't wait to hear from you. So if he needed me, he would be, he would let me know. So I think I'm becoming more at peace knowing he's doing great and seeing the change when he comes home.
Yeah.
He's grown up so much.
Yeah. 1 week in school and he had to come back because, my grandfather passed away and we needed to go to his funeral. Yeah. And it was like, maturity wise, and we've talked a lot about maturity changing. 1 week by himself, he was a completely more mature kid. It was crazy.
It makes me feel bad because I feel like maybe I was doing too much as a parent. Maybe I was hovering too much.
He was walking with confidence, talking. He was just, it was just such a nice thing to see. It really was.
Yeah.
So, what about the house here now that he's gone?
Quiet.
It is quiet.
So Kingston, we have a 2-story house. I don't think I'm giving enough information for someone to just come find us on Facebook. You don't want anything here, I promise. But Kingston had the 2-story. We have a 2-story house, and Kingston had the room above ours. And if you've ever met our oldest child, he is just elephant. Clomp, clomp, clomp. He is a strong stomper. And it got to the point where it would drive me nuts, and I got used to it. It would drive me nuts. He would be so loud. I'm trying to sleep because we go to bed at 9:30. And he would just clomp, and I'd call him and go, "What are you doing?" And drove me up the wall. And then I got used to it, and then it was gone.
Yeah.
And it was like in our bedroom, nobody making sound up, And I was like, "Oh my gosh, my Kingston's gone," the quietness. And then you got like, he's so helpful. Our kids do chores. We are of the mind when we raised our kids, that I will pay you to do something if I was going to pay someone else to do it. Like, if I'm going to pay somebody, to mow the yard, I'll pay you to mow the yard. That's how Joe started his little mowing business. If I'm going to pay somebody to detail my truck, I'll pay you to detail my truck. So Kingston started washing cars and stuff. So those kinds of things are payable. I don't pay, you don't get an allowance here. But now living in this house, you work just as hard as I do. So if the laundry's not mine, it's ours. Dishes aren't mine, it's ours. So Kingston and Joe would switch back and forth to doing the laundry and the dishes. And Kingston would do the laundry the majority of the time, and honestly because he wanted it done, and he could just throw it in there and be done with it. Joe hated doing the laundry, so it took it long. But those kinds of things stopped happening. We had to kind of figure out who's doing what again. And we had to we subtract a person. Plus, when you have a driver and you have a non-driver, it's like, hey, go pick your brother up from soccer. I got to do this, or hey, run and get some milk, or a bag of ice. Yeah. No, we don't have that anymore. It's us doing it. It sucks.
Yeah, so I would probably align right with you. Those things are definitely something I miss. Um, I also miss just hanging out, watching TV with everybody. If we have a certain show everybody wants to watch or a movie that just came out, video games we played together as a family. We're a big Mario Party family. We like to do that together, and everybody gets mad and stuff, but it's a good time. Those are the things I miss. It's just the family time together. We do still do those things with Joe just here. It's just a part of that's missing, so it's different.
It's a little sad when you're doing it, but Kingston, he'll bring his Switch home, and his Switch controllers. Make sure that if he's home, he'll bring them. He's coming home on fall break. He'll bring them with him, because we'll have some kind of contest. The last time he was here, it took us like an entire day to get through one of those because we had so much going on. But we were like, we'd play a couple rounds and then pause it, come back. Yeah.
I haven't had any of these, but have you got any calls or texts from Kingston asking you how to do something funny? Say, I don't know how long to microwave my ramen noodles or anything like that.
No.
Yeah. So
they pretty much were self-sufficient here. I mean, not that we didn't do things for him, but I mean, if that kid was hungry, he knew how to make stuff.
So
I mean, they were actually. I mean, he would scramble eggs and make stuff like that. But he knew how to do laundry. He knows how to do everything. I mean, like I haven't gotten anything.
No,
I think it would be stuff like the car. The
probably.
truck.
He does call me every now and then. It's like my blinker's on and I can't get it off or something. He hasn't done that, but it's usually some pretty minute stuff. He's a very bright kid. He figures a lot of that stuff out. So I haven't had any, so I just thought I'd ask.
No, he hasn't called me with anything weird.
Do you think our relationship with our college age son has changed? Like, I'll give you an example. I feel we've now went from parenting to more of a mentor type situation where we're not telling him what to do or giving him any. We're not going, you got to do this. It's more now this is probably what you should do, but you can do whatever you want.
I try not to give that kind of advice unless it's prompted or asked for. If he comes out and asks me, what do you think? Or he wants to tell me something, then absolutely, I'm going to give you my 2 cents. Yeah. But he's going to have to prompt me for it. I feel like if you're wanting my opinion, and sometimes I'll ask him, are you want my opinion or you just want me to hear about it? Because I'll do both. I don't care what, I just want to make sure what reply you're wanting from me. And most of the times, like, I just want to see what you would say. And I'm like, okay, this is what I would do, or this is what I would say. He's realizing that, like, we have information in our brains that he might need. So, like, certain situations, he's like, hey, I need, like, a prime example. We went to orientation. It was like, you're supposed to take family and stuff. Like, family had these seminars you had to go to, and kid had these things that he had to go to, or the college student. And he went and made his schedule.
Yeah.
And he has never made a college schedule before. I, however, have. I know you have. And so he just took this list of requirements and said, okay, put these in here. His classes were, it started 8 o'clock in the morning, didn't end at 5:30 at night. It was random. So I was like, hey, how about I look at this with you? What we think we should do for a freshman, what classes are offered at what times, and let's see if we can make a schedule. So we sat down. It took us about 45 minutes. Yeah. Me and him, and we worked out. He's got 15 hours, credit hours this semester, and it's hitting so many of his Gen X general education boxes. And he already had some because he's basically at Christmas this year he's going to be a sophomore.
Yeah, he did.
So he about have half of his credits for freshman year already in high school. So he's going to be a sophomore come January.
That's probably my big advice.
Yeah.
For anybody that has a junior or senior in high school that may be watching this, have them do dual credit classes. One, it'll help when they get into college. They'll already be a step ahead of everybody. But it's also much cheaper to pay for them in high school. Some high schools it's free.
Yeah.
Plus they get the one-on-one contact with teachers they already know and love.
I mean,
And
that's amazing.
It was a game changer.
So for Kingston, it was English.
Yeah.
English is horrible for Kingston. He is a very mathematical, science brain
For
kid,
sure.
and so hated social studies or history and hated English. But he took his English 100 and English 200.
Yeah.
All the requirements for English except one in high school with his high school English teacher who was phenomenal, and he got all of that knocked out. And if he had a question, he was going to his teacher in a classroom with 8 to 12 other people, and that was it. But anyways, what I was saying, like, he knows the schedule.
Yeah.
Like, he's already talked about, hey, we need to look at my schedule for next semester when it starts time for classes. Because he's like, hey, she's really good at this. My schedule's perfect. He's like, I love it. Like, I get up, I do this, this, and this, and then I have time for that. He's like, we checked all the boxes for him. And so I think with that, he learned that, we have some knowledge, but you need to ask us for it,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
because you're an adult, and I don't want to, for him specifically, because sometimes I feel like he just does things because he wants to make sure everybody's okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. He'll just do it because he doesn't want to hurt your feelings. I want to make sure he's the decision maker.
100%.
And sometimes you have to push him to make the decision. So I've tried to step back for Kingston for sure and make sure the decision's his, and what he's asking for me is advice on, how to accomplish those.
It's definitely morphed into more of a mentorship.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm happy being in that role now. It's more of I can be your mentor and your friend, not your dad, and
It's a slow process though. Like, I feel like now that I'm as old as I am, really good friends with my parents. But I think that that's just happened in the last probably, 8-10 years. So, 20s is also one of those situations where, depending on the kid, you're kind of fight with them about life decisions.
So last question in this high school to college thing. What have you learned about us as a parent with him going to college?
A little bit of codependency on my kid. I miss him. I know I love my kids. Don't get me wrong. I know that's a stupid thing to say. Just how much it hurts.
Yeah.
Like the pain of walking away from him. And even in the most joyous reason, right? He's becoming a man. He's going to college. He's got all these big dreams and plans, and he is doing it. I mean, like, he really is doing it. But man, how I'm so proud, but I'm so, it breaks my heart a little bit. Like, I miss my kid. Like, I want to go back because it went so fast. And of course, our parents said it was going to be fast, but you just don't know how fast it goes.
So yeah, for me, I think that kind of same sentiment that we looked at parenting as we're showing our kids what to do and grow up, and we've told them 100 times we're not here to really be your friends. We're here to make you good adults, good men who have a good head on their shoulders and a good moral compass. And I think I found out, because when you have a baby, they don't give you a book and say, this is how you parent. You're always new at whatever position you're in. If it's your fourth kid, you are now the first time you've ever had 4 kids to deal with. If you got 1 kid, you're now at the first time your kid was ever in high school. It's always new territory. I think what I've learned with him going to college is that while sometimes we may have struggled with our kids, but our parenting made him the man he is and accomplished that he is now. I'm not trying to pat ourselves on the back. We probably didn't do everything right.
No,
and a lot of that is him, because he's such a good person and a good kid. But that's what I've seen.
Yeah. I mean, I do feel like he's such a good kid. He's such a good man. It's hard to say that.
Yeah.
Still, he's always gonna be my kid, but he's such a good person, and so that was one of we were blessed with such a good person, because when we did fail, I feel like we never showed them, or we never hid that from them.
Yeah.
Even if I failed as a parent, he will be one of the first people to tell you that I'd come to him and tell him, I'm sorry. Hey, this is the first time I'm doing this too. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a parent, I'm a person, I'm human, I'm gonna make mistakes. I've got to tell 100%. You when I make the mistake, I got to tell you I'm sorry. I got to tell you what I'm going to do to fix it. I got to own it. So I think we're blessed to have such two good kids, just great kids. But for that one, he's really putting into practice what we've hoped he would.
So, to sum up high school to college, I think it is the most heartbreaking, happiest time of our lives so far. Yes. It's heartbreaking in that I can walk into his room and he's not there every day.
Yeah.
But it's so happy seeing him become the man that he wants to be, the maturity that he's had and everything. So, you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Let's move on. If you watched episode 1, we did a segment called This or That. It was fun. We're going to do it again here in segment 2. This one's more related to the topic that we're on. So I'll start with one. We'll have you go first, and then the second one I'll go first, and then you can come in behind. So helping with homework or letting them figure it out.
Now, like in what we're in right now.
Right.
Okay, if Kingston asks for homework, there's going to be a lot of YouTube videos happening in our house. Probably at this point. For Joe.
Yeah.
If you're going to ask me for help, then it doesn't need to be, I need to get this done.
Yeah, tomorrow.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not I need to get this done, I need your help. It needs to be hey, Mom, I don't understand this problem.
Yeah.
Can you help me figure it out? That kind of thing. If I'm going to help with homework, I'm not doing your homework.
No.
Right? So.
Not in high school, for
yeah,
sure.
Yeah. And we don't do that. I mean, we have in the last couple of years. If he needs, but now he's just specific, like, it's a specific thing, right? It's hey, help me figure this problem out. I cannot figure this out. And I'm YouTubing something, right? That's about it. Like, I think I would rather check it than anything, right? So I guess I want him to figure it out. I want him to figure it out.
Yeah, I think
that would be.
I think this season in life, it's more you got to figure it out. Helping him usually ends up with us just doing it because it gets frustrating.
Also, new math.
And
new math.
Why did they change math? You can't change math. It's math. So I think it's better for the kid to let them figure it out.
Yeah, I think figuring it out's the way to go.
So, which do you think is better, the high school cafeteria or the college dining hall? 100% the college dining hall at Kingston's school.
Like,
it's a full-on buffet of everything.
I agree, but they don't have square pizza.
They don't have square pizza.
Yeah, but I'm talking about my high school.
If it was my high school, I'd take square pizza every day.
Square pizza every day, but I will play devil's advocate.
Fries.
Okay, I know this county gets free lunch. Every single kid in this county gets free lunch. You know how much I paid for a meal plan at Kingston's College?
Share that information.
Exactly. So, food-wise, I'm sure the college one is way better. But price-wise, that school lunch, that's nice.
They got a Chick-fil-A on campus.
Yeah, but that ain't free either.
Yeah, it's not. But it is part of the, a little bit is a part of the meal plan, but it's not completely free. Teacher conference or tuition meetings? So
neither.
Yeah, neither. 100%. I would much rather go to.
I mean, a teacher conference because it's nothing. I mean, here's the thing: like the last teachers' conferences I've ever been to, like the parent-teacher conference, you like get a 15-minute window, and they tell you as much as they can in 15 minutes, which is it's just not a lot. If you get called in for a one-on-one, that's never good, right? Always an issue there. So I mean, but tuition stuff, maybe I don't want to do either of those things. It's not fun.
That tuition meeting that we had during orientation.
Oh.
Man, the numbers they throw around and all the stuff, you start spinning out of control if you're not paying attention to know what they're talking about.
Absolutely. I mean, I was sitting there and they were like, you know, we were trying to add in scholarships and keys money and this is for this and this is for this and this is how much you owe. And I'm like, it was more than, I'm so glad that you were there. My type A, he probably had a spreadsheet somewhere for it. He already knew the exact number down to the penny.
Pretty much. I was close.
Yeah. So I knew that you would. So that's why I'm glad that I have you as a partner to do that stuff with, because I feel like if I'd have done it just me and Kingston, it probably would have been way bad. Sorry Kingston, you probably would be kicked out of school for non-payment because I had no clue.
So All right. Friday night football or move-in day. So I'm gonna start with this one. I would take Friday night football over move-in day. Anyway, I know our kid goes to Friday night football out here for the high school, and we stay home. But I know he's coming back at night, and he's gonna have a good time. Move-in day was it wasn't a train wreck. It all went great.
Emotional train wreck.
It was an emotional train wreck. So I'm gonna take our kid being part of Friday night football all day long.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, that's a stupid question. I don't know who moved it. That's a stupid question. Friday night football every time. I will not. I mean, next year will not be as bad, but 4 years from now, when we do it for the baby,
yeah, it's gonna be real tough.
Yeah, like the baby of the family is gonna be real rough.
So we don't do this a lot, but packing lunches or packing food into a dorm room, which one would you rather do?
I also the same way. I'm just like I don't care. Yeah. I am not. God bless if you're out there making bento boxes with fresh cooked food every morning. God bless you as a parent. I don't know how you do it. You're my hero. And
they say for food at school, you can go get.
I can't. I am not one of those moms that's got the bento box and is cooking. I mean, I'm watching on TikTok. These women are amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not that mom. If I'm packing a lunch, it's a sandwich and a bag of chips and a cupcake and not in like when I mean like a Hostess cupcake. We ain't like a homemade cupcake.
Yeah.
And a fruit roll up and some Capri Sun, throw it in the lunchbox and out the door, right? Like if you're living in one of those places where the county tells you have to have healthy snacks, you're gonna be hungry till you get home.
That's Lunchable. Here's a Lunchable that has a drink in it. That's all you get. Go.
Them box lunches. That's me. But Kingston, it's lugging stuff into the college dorm room. It's a bunch of the same stuff I bought here at the house for him to have snacks and just bought it for.
We did take a grocery shopping and
he bought it himself. He thought he was going to buy it himself.
He thought, we made him think that he was going to have to buy snacks and stuff because we wanted him to understand when we're not there that you don't need to go buy a case of Pepsis. One, you don't have room for it. And two, that stuff is expensive. You might want to get the small cans of Pepsi and have just one small can of Pepsi a day if that's what you like. Or
use your water bottles.
Yeah,
use additive, those kinds of things.
The things we have here at the house that we use for convenience are great, but we make a good living together.
It's taking a long time to get there, right?
It's two of us. You don't have a job and you're living off the money that you've worked up all summer. You need to watch.
And that was one thing that we wanted for Kingston, right? Yeah. Like it was save every dollar you could from your graduation money, save every dollar you could from working all summer. And he did, and he decided that he was gonna give to us for us to dish it out when he needed it, as opposed to putting it in his account. He knew that about himself, right? Like he knew that he would spend it if he had it. It was easy to go to Chick-fil-A on campus when I have so much money in my account, but that's all I have. So, and it's October, right? So
he's done really well.
He's been there a couple months. He's only had to ask for something once, just a little bit. Yeah. And that was because he was going to national tournament in Alabama for archery. So he would want to make sure that he had some money in his account for that. But that was it. I mean, he's doing really good, but that grocery trip was eye-opening for him because I don't think he ever realized what we were buying. And then when he started going through, he's like, "Oh, I don't know if I need like Smucker's Uncrustables. These like Walmart Great Value is fine." I'm like, all right,
they taste just as good.
They taste just as good. Or I could just get a loaf of bread and some peanut butter and jelly. Like he actually looked at it and we kind of talked about it. And I've asked him about the grocery store and he just said, he can walk across campus and get a hot meal. I mean, it's not far. It's like a 5-minute walk from his dorm to the dining hall. So he's been just eating at the dining hall. Yeah, like he's not even trying to go to the grocery store too much. He'll get like some chips and stuff.
Which I think is great for him.
Yeah.
So, all right. Waiting for Joe to come back from the football game on Friday night or waiting for Kingston to call or text?
Oh, call it. Was this one I want more? Or
no,
it's harder?
Which one is... which one would you want more? Which one are you? Okay, so it's this or that. Let's go. Which one's harder? Waiting for Joe to come back from the football game on Friday night?
Harder to wait for Kingston to call me.
Yeah.
Like I am trying my hardest, son, not to call you. I'm looking right at you, son, because I know you're going to listen to this because you're that kind of kid. You'd listen to your mom and dad's podcast. But it is hard not calling him. Hard not calling him. But I'm trying. You know, I want him to not feel like he has to tell me every detail of his life because he's growing up.
In full disclosure, we don't live very far from the football field.
No.
So
if that game is...
we can hear the siren go off at the end of each quarter. We know when the game ends, and we know, hey, he's coming home. And if he's not home within a certain amount of time,
I'm coming after you.
And, you know, technology's changed. I don't know how our parents did it. But we know exactly where he is at all times.
Yeah.
My parents had no clue where I was.
Yeah, so. that's something. Yeah. Yeah. So it's not hard the curfew thing. He's not going to push his curfew as a freshman, because he knows that he's with us for, 4 more years. Huh. So he's not going to push it yet. He might push it later, but he's not pushing it yet.
So let's go to our segment called "We're 1,000 Years Old."
This is a mean segment.
Yeah. Well, it was called Back in My Day, but you're the one that changed the name.
1,000.
So, what is the main difference between high school now and when you were in there that you can see as far as our kids?
Everything. Yeah. Everything is different. It feels like everything is different. Like, I mean, we had computers, but we didn't have computers, right? So, like, in a computer lab. Like, I remember freshman year, I was, like, typing classes, but the only time I used a computer. Maybe if you were on the yearbook, and you did that. Right. But using computers was not something we did in a classroom at any time except for, like, specific for something. So, I mean, I remember English. I mean, I wrote a 10-page English paper. That was our requirement as a senior to graduate from school. Yeah. We had a 10-page paper. It had to have references. Those references, some were the internet, some, right? Because we had a couple of computers in the library. But the majority of them used the hard catalog and went and found a book, and you had to learn how to write the Dewey Decimal System. I'm telling you. And so I remember I wrote that 10-page paper by hand, and then had to type it. We got like a couple of weeks where like you could start typing stuff up, so you could do your rough draft typed, and then your final draft and all this other stuff. And so she would help you make sure it was right. But I remember, I mean, like these kids are walking with, just a laptop assigned to them. Yeah. Like, and everything, like, I'm over here like, well, you need to go to school tomorrow since you were out and get all of your work and bring it home with you. He's like, Mom, it's all on Google Classroom. I don't know what you're talking about. Like they uploaded it this morning before I even like missed school. It was already there. We were ready to go.
So that's kind of where I was too. Is the biggest difference for me is I remember having a backpack full of books and going to my locker.
Yeah, locker.
And change it. And like, I'm going to math class, got to put my science book up, get my math book out, change out my notebooks because I got my math notebook. And they just haul around a Chromebook in the backpack, and it's all right there. So that's the biggest difference for me.
So crazy.
So with that being said, do you think we had harder in high school, or they do? And if you think they have it harder now, what's your reasoning?
Socially harder now. There's a cell phone in every kid's hand. Yeah. Mistakes are captured forever, right? Like you say something mean to someone, you're arguing back and forth or something like that. That's captured. Yeah. If you have a big, like, I don't know if this ever happened in your school. You ever had like the it couple breakup? Oh. In the middle of the lunchroom, something like that. Yeah. It's dramatic, right? Some kind of teen soap opera. You thought you were watching like Saved by the Bell, Kelly and Zach.
It's happening right there in the cafeteria.
Right there in the cafeteria. And can you imagine if that was you and everybody was videotaping it? Yeah. 20 years later, you're watching your high school sweetheart break up with you in the middle of the lunchroom. But, that's the kind of stuff that they do. Like, that's, cell phones are too much. They're just socially, they're social medias and videos and those kinds of things. It's so much. I agree with
you too.
For the school part though, I can't work a computer well enough for it. I do my job is what I do. Been trained to do my job, but that's about it on a computer.
So I agree with you. I think in ways it is easier. They don't have to lug around that backpack full of books because they got the laptop. But I think social media, like you said, lives forever. But it also they see the best of everyone that they're.
Oh yeah, the
So
best
they
comments, yeah.
feel like they don't have it as good as the kid next door because they see their absolute best life possible. They don't see
in
the
10
rest
seconds of it, right?
Yeah,
Just
they
snaps.
see, they're at the beach. They don't see the fact that their parents had to do 2 extra jobs and weren't home to be able to afford to even go to the beach for 2 days. They don't see that part of it. They just think that they're rich. They got to go to the beach. Look at them. And I don't get that chance because my parents don't have that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also think they miss out on the actual. It's called social media, but it really pulls you away from being social.
I agree with that.
We used to leave school and we would go cruise for 2 hours. We'd drive around the park where everybody would sit in park. We'd hang out until the police ran us off because we were making too much noise. And everybody would get along, and you got to meet people outside of school and have fun and talk. And they do that over text message now. They sit in the room with their hand in front of with their phone in front of their face, and they never really speak to somebody. And I think it's harder for them socially than
I think so. We had such a good time. I do believe we were like the best generation because we did get the benefits of technology.
Yeah.
But we are not addicted to it like they are, and we used it in ways that just communication. Now we do. We're older. We use the TikToks and stuff like that. But we literally use those phones as phones to get together. It was like that was it. Like right, I can take that phone anywhere and somebody can call me. I'm like, hey, we're meeting up here. That's the kind of things we did because we still did stuff together. But I do feel like they just communicate through a phone now.
So, what's one thing from, since we're still back in my day here, one thing from back in your day you wish Joe had in high school or Kingston had in college that they don't have now?
That Joe had in high school? Let me think on that. What do you think? You answer that one because I don't know.
So high school, I'll do high school first. We covered, the social aspect of it, but I wish he had square pizza because that is a memory that I think us millennials and Gen Zs and having that old square pizza at school. I think there are still some schools out there that serve it, but as far as college, I'll be honest with you. I went to a trade school, so I don't really have the on-campus experience. So, I really don't know what he's missing out on. So it's hard for me to even say on that.
I would say high school, like what you said, more than likely, just the freedom of not dealing with social media stuff. Just having fun, hanging out, being a kid. Yeah. Also, feel like safety wise, the world's getting to a crazier place. Maybe it's just, it was there when we were kids, but it wasn't as prevalent. So safety in schools is kind of a big thing. In high school or in college, I went to a community college and so I don't have the sleeping in a dorm, those kinds of things, for Kingston. So I really wouldn't know either.
Okay. Well, that's probably gonna wrap this episode up. It's been a good one. I think. Let's see. I think one thing we've probably learned, or I know I've learned from this change in our season with the kids moving on, is
that not getting older, changing
of the season.
I like that.
Is that the season's going to change whether we want it to or not.
That's a true statement.
So do the best with what we have in front of us, and hope that our kids have learned over their times with us that how to be good people.
Yeah.
So anything you would take away from this change of season?
No. I think you're right. It's just it's coming no matter what. can't prepare for it. Really, I thought I was prepared for it. Senior year, every little emotional thing happened. I feel like in middle school, all the drama and the crazy from all of that. Um, you can't prepare for your life. I mean, you can try, but it usually doesn't happen. But I guess you just try to do your best you can to raise them, right? And hope that it works out.
Well, with that, we're going to say goodbye. We appreciate y'all being with us today for episode 2 of Life in the Middle. Please hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube.
Yes,
we're on all your podcast networks, Apple, Spotify, things like that. But just make sure you like and subscribe. Leave us a message, a comment. Let us know what you think. And come back next week. We're going to cover more of conversations about life in the middle. I'm Travis.
I'm Jenna.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks.
Life